Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with reTHINK Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 155. I'm Tony Caliendo, author of the book, Less Over More, and executive coach here at reTHINK Coaching. As always, I want to welcome you to the podcast and thank you for sharing your time with me. Time truly is our greatest asset, and the fact that you're willing to share and invest your time with me truly does mean a great deal. Today's episode is really going to cover two topics that I think are really critical for us to pay attention to when it comes to how we define or how we approach success. And these two things could be happening on an unconscious level. We may not even be aware that they're happening, but they are so incredibly powerful that it's really important for you to become aware of them and decide what you want to do with it. So I'll start by saying that success has shifted a bit, right? The success we perform has shifted a bit. Success, I believe, used to be more about an experience, what we would experience. And I believe it's changed or shifted to something we feel like we need other people to see. So think about it. The promotion, the title, the house, the car, the trip, the revenue numbers, the followers, the clicks you get on social media, your calendar, the appearance that everything is going incredibly well in your life. Talk about this all the time. You know, social media is our highlight reel. And we tend not to show the blooper reel that's happening in real life, real time. And none of those things are inherently bad. They're really not, right? The external validation that we feel like we need other people to see, it's not horrible and it's not inherently bad. However, there are two ideas that I think help explain why this is happening, because I think it's really important for us to understand why all of the sudden success needs to be validated or experienced through other people seeing or other people acknowledging what we have accomplished. And the two things are the two ideas that I believe have created the experience that we're living when it comes to success is conspicuous consumption and the attention economy. These two things have been around for a while, and it wasn't until I really understood what they were that I was able to decipher how I was going to move forward about the impact of other people on what I felt was success for myself and my company. Conspicuous consumption is really about the things we buy, own, achieve, or display becoming signals or status of success. So it's the things that we consume, that we buy, that we achieve. And it isn't simply anymore, I like this car. It maybe has turned into, what does driving this car say about me? So again, it's not really about the things that we buy, own, or achieve. It's about the status or the impression that it gives out in the world. Could have been in the past, we would have decided, you know what, I really want this house. Now it's become, what does owning this house prove about me to the world, to everyone else? And then you layer on top of it the other element, which is called attention economy. And these two things, I believe, have changed how we choose to approach success in our life in business. So attention economy actually goes back to the 70s. I think it was early 70s. Herbert Simon was talking about what happens when information becomes abundant. I want you to think about this. This was the 70s, before information overload that we experience now. His basic idea was that when there is more and more information competing for us, something else becomes scarce, our attention. And think about how interesting it is, right? This was before smartphones, when we carried around a little computer with us, before social media, before Google, before AI, before email became part of our everyday life. And I think most importantly are the notifications and the access we have to the world on our smartphones that we carry around. Before we had access to all of this, attention economy was still a thing. It's become more of a thing. And it's simply not just that we live in an abundance of information, but what it is when companies Platforms, brands, advertisers, our peers, our industry, media, even our friends and family are competing for our attention. And that is attention economy, because once somebody has captured your attention, they have the opportunity to influence what you think about, what you compare yourself to, and what you buy, or maybe even what you define as success. So I want to explore 6 ideas around these two concepts. I think about the statement earlier, right? I like this car. And it became, what does driving this car say about me? For me, this one hits a little bit because I always felt like a car was a status symbol, that if people saw me driving a nice car, that they would assume that I was successful and had reached a level of success. And I remember when I first became a real estate agent 25 odd years ago, when I was selling homes, I remember thinking that I had to have a really nice car because it was my mobile office. And if I pulled up in anything less than a luxury or an expensive car, people wouldn't think I knew what to do or how to sell houses. Looking back on that, I really think that was really not the truth, but it was part of the attention economy. My industry, my broker, my peers all captured my attention about the importance of driving a luxury car at all times and how that was going to impact my career. Did it? I don't know. Did it not? I don't know. I don't think it was the end all be all. However, it went from driving a Mercedes because I like Mercedes to driving it because it made a statement. And then it went from Mercedes to Range Rover because that was the next step up. And it was another statement for the world to see how successful I was. And it was strictly reacting to somebody capturing my attention about success as a real estate agent looks like this. And part of that was driving an expensive car. So, number 1, conspicuous consumption. When success becomes something that we display, all right, it doesn't mean buying something nice is wrong. I still drive a nice car. I like it. I do it for different reasons. I do it because it's safe. I do it for reliability. I do it because it's something that I've become used to. And it isn't about judging if you choose to do something that displays a level of success, but it's about becoming aware of why we want something. What's the reason we really want it? For me, like I said, I really enjoy a nice luxury car. It makes me feel safe. I feel like it's reliable. That's my story, right? Other times, its value comes from what we think it communicates to everybody else. It goes back to the older version of me that I felt like I had to pull up and people see this great car, which when I think about it, it's kind of funny. My sellers really never probably saw my car. And most of the buyers I would meet at a house and they might see it, but it wasn't a huge experience, right? The car, the house, the title, the vacation, all of that can be confused for I like it to look at me world. Because I can do these things, it means I am super successful. So the question I would challenge you to ask yourself to see if we're in conspicuous consumption or not is, would I still want this if nobody ever knew I had it? Think about it, right? If nobody ever knew about the house, the car, the title, the promotions, the vacation, all of this stuff, would you still want it? Or are we doing it as a validation? Are we doing it as a status symbol of success? Again, there's nothing wrong with enjoying the symbols of success. There's not. The question is whether you're enjoying them or depending on them to prove something. I'm going to read that to you again, and I'm going to say it one more time because it's really important. Nothing wrong with owning or enjoying symbols of success. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, the question is whether you're enjoying them or depending on them to prove something. If you're depending on it to prove something, are you really enjoying it? Or has it become a burden? Think about that when it comes to conspicuous consumption. Number 2, the attention economy, which I think is really important, especially in the world we live in with constant access to us, is from information overload to a battle for your attention is really what's happening. It didn't start with social media. This happened in the 70s when we didn't have the technology that we have today. Yet it was really apparent that it was happening. When a marketing firm or when a company or a product captures our attention and leads us to believe that we need it as a form of success, they have captured our attention and they can influence our purchase, our decisions, or our way forward. This is important because, again, this came about in the 70s. More information doesn't create more attention. However, it creates more things competing for the attention that we already have. So fast forward to now, you've got social media, intense marketing and advertisers, streaming platforms that are vying for your attention, news organizations that want your attention, brands that want your attention, influencers. Influencers with the get ready with me today, all of that stuff. Look at me, I'm endorsing this product and I live this great life. Influencers are a big part of the attention economy, even podcasts wanting your attention. And it can be also just simply asking other people to get access to you to get your attention. Attention is valuable. And I want you to remember this. The reason attention is valuable because once someone has it, they have the opportunity to influence what happens next. To me, that's an eye opener because it's happening subtly. It's happening gradually and then suddenly that people are capturing our attention in a way that now once they have it, they can manipulate or manage what happens next. A purchase, an experience, a vacation, a house, a promotion, anything can happen once your attention has been secured by somebody else. It's really a surrender of your power, in my opinion. Once I surrender my attention to someone else, I'm very vulnerable to believing whatever is presented or gifted or given to me to pay attention to. Marketing has become really sophisticated at capturing and competing for our attention. Think about it. You search for something and suddenly you're seeing more of it. How many of us have had a conversation about something, a trip, a product, whatever, and magically it starts showing up in our feeds? Magically, it starts showing up in the ads that we see. Magically, it appears on a higher level. We might watch a video about something and it shows up in our platforms. Click, like, share, whatever we do, they're capturing our attention and then they're feeding that and capturing our attention at a higher level because they're providing the information that we believe we want to see. The question is whether the information is quietly influencing what you believe you should want. And I'm telling you, it is. Attention economy it's quietly influencing you to believe what you should want. And part of that is somebody else's story of success becomes the story that you are holding on to. What repeatedly gets your attention can eventually start shaping your definition of success. Hear that again. What repeatedly gets your attention can eventually start shaping your definition of success. It can be, I need a bigger house. I need the new job. I need a bigger raise. I need the luxury vacation. I need to go on a yacht, not just a cruise. Whatever it is that's capturing and getting your attention can start to affect how you define success. Number 3 thing to be aware of is we used to be marketed products. Now we're also marketed lifestyles. I mean, think back, a while ago, and for some of us, we can remember this better than somebody who might be a little bit younger. We really were just marketed products, a car, a television, a new appliance. Here's the thing that you should buy, right? Now it's about a lifestyle, the perfect home, the dream vacation, the perfect morning routine, the perfect body. The successful business looks like this. The massive income feels like this. The promotion, the followers, the seemingly perfect relationship that appears. All of these messages aren't just coming from brands. They're coming from people we know, people we follow, people we admire. Sometimes it's people we've never met. Think about all the people that you follow on social media. How many of them have you actually met? Like been in a room with, had a conversation with, interacted with more than just a click online. We don't compare products anymore. We do, but that's not all we compare anymore. We've started comparing lives. We've started comparing lifestyle that we live. And this is where conspicuous consumption and attention economy can begin to collide. The question you should ask yourself about things that you're purchasing or things that you're using to feel successful is, do I want it? And move it from that, right? Shifting from, do I want that, to why doesn't my life look like that? Or why isn't my life changing just because I'm following somebody else? We used to be marketed products, but just really pay attention. We're being marketed a lifestyle. And this is what I know to be true. Emotion makes people take action. So when you're being marketed to this great life that you can live, it gets you in a state of emotion. It gets you in a state of wanting to experience something else. That emotion can drive you to take action. A product on its own may not compel us to take action, but a lifestyle with the product involved is the home run. That can get you into action, and meaning that without that, you're not going to have the life that you want. And it's going to impact your version of success in your life or your business. Number 4 thing to think about is, do you want it, or do you want what it represents? Sometimes we don't actually want the thing. We want what we believe the thing represents. The car might represent status. The income may represent security. The title might represent significance. The followers might relay relevance. The full calendar makes us feel important. Look at me, how busy I am. None of that makes us bad or shallow. It really just makes you human. But if we never separate the thing from the meaning we've attached to it, we can spend years chasing symbols instead of experiences. Think about that. When you attach meaning to something, right? When you attach that this car is going to make me successful, this car represents a status, that my house, the large house that I have with the pool and the sports court and the pickleball court and all that stuff, is representing a level of significance. Sometimes we're not trying to acquire something, we're just trying to prove something. An external validation of success is not that uncommon for a lot of us to be looking for. However, if we're trying to prove something versus actually want something, there's a huge difference. It's a great question to ask yourself. If nobody knew I achieved this, owned this, or accomplished this, would I still want it? If nobody knew about the car you drove, if nobody knew about the job promotion that you just took, if nobody knew about the salary increase you took, if nobody knew about that luxury vacation off the Greek Isle that you went on, if nobody knew about that, nobody knew about what you owned, achieved, or accomplished, would you still want it? Or is conspicuous consumption and attention economy driving your decisions? This is really important for you to wrap your brain around, because it's happening to you. It's happening to you. It's happening to me. Our attention is a major commodity right now. And just remember, once people get your attention, they can start influencing how you act and what you do. So you can be chasing something because you believe that it's going to make you something that you're not. You may not even want it, but you're like, oh, I got to get that, because until I get that, I'm not considered successful. So really, really think about it. Sometimes we're not chasing things. We're chasing what we believe the thing will prove. So we're not always chasing the thing, but we're chasing what we believe it's going to prove to the general public, to our peers, to the industry, to whatever it is that you are hoping to get your attention from. Performing success gets expensive, and enough keeps moving. So I want you to think about that. This is really important. Your enough keeps moving. Think, when I get here, it'll be enough. And then suddenly that enough is no longer enough, and it keeps moving. So performing success gets expensive because your enough keeps moving. Once success becomes something we perform, we often have to maintain the performance, the bigger lifestyle, the bigger expense, the bigger business, the next title. We can't park at a title for very long. Otherwise, that doesn't mean we're successful. So we got to keep chasing it. The next number, the next level, the next revenue, the next company that we purchase, the next company that we absorb. All of these things, as performance success, can get expensive. There's not only a financial cost, there's an emotional cost. Time cost, energy cost, relationship cost. There's a lot of cost associated with this enough moving all the time. One of the biggest problems with externally measured success is that the finish line keeps moving. I can't say this enough. I know I've said this and we've talked about destination addiction, but I want you to think about it in this concept. How many of you have said, when I make this amount of money, I'm going to be great. It's going to be enough. I'm going to be content. And then we get there, somebody else gets our attention and creates the awareness that there's a bigger opportunity out there for you. And until you have it, right, catch our attention and can influence what we do, until we reach that new level of enough, we're not successful. Performance success gets expensive, and enough keeps moving when you lean into these things. There's always something bigger, something better. There always is. Whether you choose to give it your attention or not is up to you. I mean, there's always I think the best example, and I love it, I'm not criticizing iPhones. I barely bought my iPhone 16 and iPhone 17 was out. Then you get the iPhone 17 and they did another update and iPhone 18's on the way. Now it's a slim and it's a flip and it's all of these things. If I allow this brand to use the attention economy on me, which they're brilliant at, they're a company. It's what we've been trained to do as companies, to influence people to purchase or buy our product. I'm going to be influenced that the 16 isn't good enough. And that people can tell it's a 16 because of the camera. People can tell it's a 16 because of the case. People can tell it's a 16, and I need to get the 17 to visibly show my level of success. I'm not picking on Apple. I love Apple. I'm just saying it's a really good example. Happens with Android. It happens with Google. It happens with cars, right? It's like all of a sudden a newest model of a car comes out. I'm in the old model. I must not be successful if I can't buy the newer, better model. It's really important for you to be congruent and comfortable with what your enough is, and to become aware of when brands, manufacturers, products, people, influencers are jockeying for your attention, because again, once they have it, they're going to use it to their advantage and push you into doing more. The image of success can become more expensive than the success itself. I mean, from what you wear, to what you drive, to the jewelry, to the bag you carry, to the shoes you have, to all of that can be really expensive, and it's more expensive than the success itself. If you never define your enough, the world will happily keep defining it for you and keep moving it on you. So it's really important, if you never define enough for yourself, the world will gladly keep defining more for you, because that's attention economy. It's got your attention. It's wanting to create a gap, a delta between where you are and where you could be. And where you could be is success. Where you are is not. Where you are suddenly is not as successful as the person who's achieved these other things. So really, really, really pay attention to it. Number 6 is, what does success look like when nobody is watching? I think this is a really important question for you to ask yourself. What if you removed anybody and everybody that was watching? Social media, followers, coworkers, family expectations, industry norms and standards, no competitors, no one to impress, no one to prove anything to. So you remove everything. It's just you and your stuff, you and your life, you and your career. It's just you. Nobody else is influencing, jockeying for your attention. It's just you. Nobody can see what you've achieved. Nobody can see what you're doing. I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. What would I still want? What would I stop pursuing? What would I spend more time doing? What would matter less? What would suddenly matter much more? And maybe the biggest question that you should ask yourself is, if nobody could see my success, how would I define it? This is really important. How would you define your success? It's not about abandoning ambition. It's not. It's about taking control of how you define success. This is a chapter in the book, Less Over More, where we talk about giving you permission to define success through your eyes, not somebody else's. So it's not about you not having ambition. It's not about you making yourself smaller. It isn't about deciding that achievement doesn't matter. It's about making sure the ambition actually belongs to you. that the version of success that you're following, chasing, whatever it is that you're doing to get there is yours, not somebody else's. That somebody didn't capture your attention and has manipulated your definition of success based upon what they want you to buy, what they want you to do next, how they want you to live your life, how they want you to perform at your job. I want you to experience success instead of constantly performing it. This one hits hard. If you're not following your version of success, you're acting your way to success because you're performing success according to somebody else's story. It's like an actor who got a script. Here's the script. Follow it. It's going to make you famous, and you follow the script word for word. Same thing with success. You're not experiencing your own version of success. You're performing somebody else's. I can't say that enough. Success becomes more powerful when it stops being something you perform and becomes something you actually experience. My favorite thing to take away from this is ask yourself, if nobody could see it, would you still want it? If nobody could see it, would you still do it? If nobody could see it, would it matter? And if nobody could see it and you could look at your world, what would actually matter more that doesn't matter? Because right now, that thing doesn't matter to the external forces that are jockeying for your attention. But when you clear the noise and you move everybody out of the picture and it's just you, you might realize that something in your world matters way more than what you've been given in attention because somebody else bought your attention through attention economy and has manipulated you into believing that's the only path forward. These two are kind of heady things, and I get that. And so you might have to listen to this once or twice. But the really important thing for you to take away from this is I believe attention economy is the most important thing to become aware of. That when somebody gets our attention, they're in control. When somebody garnishes our attention, we surrender to a degree and we start doing things because they have captured and influenced us once they have our attention. As always, team, thanks for being part of this. I truly appreciate it. If you want to learn more things like this is in the book, Less Over More. This is really important for your path to success. And it's not just about being successful. It's about enjoying and being congruent so that you can actually have joy and peace on your journey to whatever your definition of success looks like. Thanks for being here. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.